Well, indeed, over the past week, the political impasse in Zimbabwe has been a cause of major concern for the Southern African region. Regional leaders under the bloc SADC had a meeting on Tuesday in Angola to try and resolve the situation. And of course, they had decided to send South Africa's President Jacob Zuma to Harare on Wednesday. But much has changed since then. Let's try and get you more on that regional position. We're now joined by CGTN's Angelo Coppola from Johannesburg. Angelo, just to begin with, how has the news of Mugabe's exit been received in South Africa?
Well, judging from local media outlets and social media platforms here, the news is being overwhelmingly well received. We, of course, have many tens of thousands of Zimbabweans who have made their lives here, most left for economic or political reasons, and it's unlikely that they're going to be rushing back soon, as most of them have said to us already. That's just at the moment. The country, of course, as you know, is in dire straits, and the Zimbabweans have only known really one president, so they're going to want to see how the acting president reacts. Mnangagwa, if he is sworn in, will be in place for around 90 days according to the Constitution. And the vast majority of people here in South Africa have adopted a kind of a wait-and-see approach. Commentators will be watching to see how the ruling party reacts and perhaps more specifically what the army does. And while it appears that Mugabe is no more, the situation remains extremely fluid. So the country's leaders have been given, or perhaps more accurately, have created an opportunity to give Zimbabwe a second chance. Lindy?
Well, of course, as we know, Angelo, President Jacob Zuma and his Angolan counterpart were scheduled to travel to Harare on Wednesday. Now, considering, as you say, that the situation in Zimbabwe remains fluid, do you know whether or not that plan still stands?
Well, Lindy, as far as we're concerned, nothing's changed. We've had words with the local public diplomacy contact person here. He's saying that the two presidents will be coming, nothing, and unless, of course, there's something that changes at a moment's notice, or if there's some form of unrest. But there was only one point of order on the SADC communique today, and that was to assess the situation. So the two presidents will most likely do just that. What are they hoping to achieve? Well, it's very likely they'll want to secure ex-President Mugabe's position and probably seek and get a peaceful and graceful departure for Mugabe and his wife from the country, possibly. That, of course, depends on what the Zimbabwean parliament and the ruling party decides to do and whether there will be any kind of legal ramification to Mugabe's 37-year rule. SADC and, of course, Zimbabwe's neighbors will be watching this situation quite closely, hoping for stability and eventually some form of prosperity to return to the country, Lindy.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Angelo Coppola, following developments there from Johannesburg on this historic day after Robert Mugabe has resigned as the president of Zimbabwe.